What's good in the hood, YouTube? This is Crazy Samurai 71 here, bringing you guys another video. Today I'm bringing you guys a video on Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel episode 9. This episode is called Outfoxed, and this episode is the fall premiere episode. Yes, Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel hasn't been on for about 22 weeks, which is pretty amazing, but it's good to see that it's finally back. This episode was really well done. It had really good use of remix themes from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from different seasons, and it did things in a lot of ways really well. The music was utilized in many places. There was Zord music utilized that was different. It wasn't just like the standard Super Samurai or Megaforce or whatever kind of background music. It was something that was different. It was better utilized. There was also good use of the Go-Go Power Rangers theme song. In a couple places, the Bulk and Skull remix, a couple of different things were inserted here and there that were used really well. And these are newer things, most of them, so that's one thing that I really appreciate. I mean, some of them have been in like a couple of the more recent episodes, but they were used well. That's one thing that I have to say is awesome. On top of that, Victor and Monty's used in this episode. Victor and Monty are often used as a side plot. They have their own story, they're doing their own thing many times. In this episode, they actually inserted them into the main plot, which is one thing that I always try to stress that I think is one thing that they should always do a lot more of. Victor and Monty are not the most popular characters, but they do have a good fan base that people like them, even though some definitely could take them or leave them. For me, I'm always in between. I'm not against them, I'm not for them entirely too. So that's my opinion. I'm neither for nor against. I think that they do some really good things, and there are certain things that they could be doing better. But in this episode, they actually utilized them pretty darn well by inserting them into the story, and that really led to some really great things. There's also some good funny moments from them, which is rare because often the humor for their characters is very hit or miss. A lot of it is more, slapstick, humor that isn't that great, but they actually did some stuff that was done pretty darn well, and I actually appreciated it. There's a certain line in the episode in particular that I'll mention that I think was utilized well, and it sounded perfect, and it was kind of funny. It was good enough. It did what it needed to do. Also, the Cloaked figures and how they connect to the anniversary episode, that's pretty awesome too. I'll discuss those. I do know exactly who each one of them is. We know one for sure, obviously, just because of a certain image in the episode, but the other two I do know exactly who they are just by the voices. Even though they tried to hide the voices, it was pretty obvious who all three of them were. So we'll get into that and more in this episode. So for starters, the way the episode actually starts off is that it's a continuation of the previous episode where the Rangers had to deal with Foxatron. What happened is that they ended up getting the 4 ninja medallions that they were hoping to power Foxatron, Madame Odia specifically I'm talking about, and the Rangers have to deal with it with their Ninja Zords. Thing is that Foxatron manages to defeat the Rangers and lead to their Ninja Zords not being able to be used. At the same time, Foxatron loses all its power because the Ninja Medallions need to be recharged. So they have to wait about a day for them to recharge, and at that point the Rangers have to figure out a strategy to defeat Foxatron. So the episode basically starts about a day later. There's about 2 hours before before Foxatron can be operational again. So the Rangers are hoping that they can figure out some solution. Currently, Mick hasn't found one, so they have to brainstorm. As the Rangers are walking into the school and heading towards the base, they actually are confronted by a girl named Sandy that actually transferred into Preston's class and wants to study with him science. Thing is that he's super busy, so he initially passes her up, and at that point what actually happens is that they end up heading to the base. Now, one thing I want to mention here, and I'm not exactly sure where it was happening, is that there's a part in the episode where we actually see the Galaxy Warrior Dome, and what's happening is that they're trying to recharge the ninja medallions, and Wolverine and Venema, the two ninjas that were in the past couple episodes that are still around, want to get back their ninja medallions, but Madame Odia says, I can't give them back to you now. The only way you can get back your ninja medallions is if you manage to defeat the Rangers in a battle prior to Foxatron being recharged. Otherwise, what will happen is that you'll be destroyed and the Ninja Steel Rangers will be destroyed. So their basic, their only choice at this point is to defeat the Rangers in a battle. So that's their main goal. just wanted to make that clear for those that are wondering, because I don't remember exactly where that whole situation happened, but that was something that was in the story. Anyway, getting back to the Rangers do head off to the base. They end up meeting up with Mick, and Mick still has no idea how to recover the Ninja Zords in time. Also, another problem is that they can't melt down the Super Ninja Steel fast enough because it's too powerful, and it's causing problems. So they need to figure out a new power source or something in order to defeat Foxatron. Fortunately for them, Calvin notices the Ninja Nexus Prism reacting, and suddenly the Rangers are told by Calvin to look over, and what they end up seeing is these new Ninja Zords. These are the Blaze Zords. There's 6 of them, and what happens is that Mick immediately goes to grab 6 Ninja Stars and tries to throw them into the Ninja Nexus Prism. Normally, when it comes to throwing Ninja Stars into the Ninja Nexus Prism, they'll come flying back out really fast, and that's what Mick was expecting. But what actually happens is that after they're inserted in, they form proper Ninja Stars, but they don't come flying back. They're just stuck into the Ninja Nexus Prism, and so they have to figure out a way to get them out of there. What happens is that suddenly 3 cloaked figures appear out of a portal, and these 3 cloaked figures basically tell the Rangers, in order to get these Blaze Zords, they must prove themselves as Rangers. They cannot just gain them this time. Unlike in the past where they've been able to just throw them in there and get them, in this case they have to really prove themselves as Rangers. And the Rangers are confused by that because they think, like, we do that all the time. We defeat the monsters, we use our Zords, we do all our normal stuff. So what is different this time? So what happens is that the cloak figures just say, you just need to prove yourselves. And at that point they retreat back into their portal. Then from there, what happens is that there is a monster attack. I believe this is how things happen. They decide to go off and deal with the monster attack, which is from Wolverine and Venoma. Venoma is backing up Wolverine, but what happens is that at the same time, the Rangers try to do some serious attacks. They do transform in the episode, which is good. We see some good combat against Wolverine, and Wolverine is defeated in battle, but he doesn't explode or get destroyed. He just retreats, same with Venoma, although Venoma lasts even less time than Wolverine does. Then from there, what we do end up seeing is that back at the base, the Rangers are told by Mick that in order to, that what they might want to do, since apparently the Blaze Zords still don't reactivate, is go and maybe create a chemical bath and maybe electrocute the Ninja Stars in order to bring them back to life, sort of like hot wiring or powering a car when it stops. Similar idea, something that Calvin is, connects or uses as an analogy, which is a pretty good one. Doing that is pretty logical. I forget the exact word that he used. It was something, jump-starting a car. That's the word, jump-starting a car. So anyway, what does end up happening is that the Rangers end up trying to head off to the science lab. In the meantime, what happens is that they're confronted by a number of different people that need their help. For starters, their teacher is trying to get her wedding ring out of a drainage chute, and the thing is that there's this metal gate over it that prevents her from getting it. So what happens is that Calvin and Haley decide to go over and help out their teacher, and the others head off. They manage to get the ring out, and the teacher is very happy and grateful to them. Next, what happens is that they end up arriving inside of the school at the science lab. What happens is that apparently Mick gave them a list of things that they need to get in order for them to create a chemical bath and electrocute the Ninja Stars to bring them back to working order. And what happens is that the Rangers try to get those things. In the meantime, Victor and Monty are working with the girl Sandy, because what happens is that they offer to help her out. Now, the one thing that's kind of funny that they actually say in this episode is that they say, hey, we're doing science stuff, leave us alone, or something like that. Like, they say something along those lines, and it's just done really well. It's kind of funny. It's this cute moment that I actually thought was really well utilized. I actually forget the exact word, but it was just perfect, you know? It was so perfect. Excuse me, we're sciencing in here. That's what it was. It was great. We're sciencing. I love it. So what actually happens is that while they're in there, Preston notices that Victor and Monty are gonna combine two chemicals that really shouldn't go together. And what happens is that Victor and Monty, you know, think nothing of Preston, and what actually happens is that it leads to an explosion that causes Victor and Monty's hair to actually get stuck together. So at that point, we have them with their heads together and they're stuck. And what happens is that they're heading out to the school, but they don't want their hair to get stuck like it is. So in the meantime, what happens is that you have Sandy who's alone, and what happens is that Preston feels bad about her now being left alone. She mentions the fact that, you know, she's coming from a new school, she's coming to this new school and she has no friends right now, and she was hoping to get to know Preston so that way she can make a friend and connect with people, and he completely understands. And so what happens is that rather than leaving her and going with the other Rangers, he decides to stay with her and help her out and, you know, make sure that she can do her project properly and be successful with it. So he stays behind to help her out. In the meantime, the other three Rangers that are there, so I'm talking about Levi, Brody, and Sarah, head off. They are walking down a pathway, and what happens is that they end up seeing Victor and Monty that are struggling. Their hair is stuck together, and they're walking down. And what happens is that the three of them realize they can't just leave them struggling. So what happens is that suddenly Calvin and Haley appear, and they end up saying, we managed to get the ring out of the drain for our teacher. And then what the three Rangers say is that, well, we need to help out Victor and Monty. Why don't you take these boxes back to Mick and we'll help them out. And what happens is that they actually manage to grab out a special solvent that they use to actually separate Victor and Monty from each other so that their hair is not stuck. So the three Rangers help out. Calvin and Haley head to Mick, and what happens is that as the Rangers return back to the base, they're hoping to get things fixed. They end up using, after the other Rangers help out with everything, so Preston helping out with Sandy, and then Sarah, Brody, and Levi helping out Victor and Monty, they all return back to the base. What happens is that they try to do the jump starting of the Ninja Stars. One Ninja Star is recovered, which is Calvin's Ninja Star, but they realize they have 5 more to go and they don't have enough time to get all of them fixed. What happens is that suddenly the blaze stars that were stuck inside the Ninja Nexus prism actually start shooting out and coming to the Rangers. The reason why this happens, and we end up learning this from those cloaked figures that actually appear again, is the fact that they were able to, you know, deal with their problems as Rangers while also helping people in need, and not just, you know, dodging their request for help. They were able to do things and still be Rangers at the same time, and it showed really well on them. The fact that they were able to do both. They were able to accomplish an important goal, which was getting these chemicals to jumpstart their Zords, but also helping out people in need. That is something that's very Rangerly and very positive and makes a lot of sense. So that was a very nice moment, and we actually get to hear all 3 of the voices. Now that's the one thing I haven't been saying, and I'm not going to say it till the last part of when they show up, because they actually show up 3 times in the episode. This was the second time. What ends up happening as well is that following this, the Rangers, now with their new Zords, end up heading off to the city because there's now a new monster attack. This time what happens is that it is the, the Wolverine, and he's now grown very big. So he's attacking the city. The Rangers then decide to summon their new Blaze Zords. The Blaze Zords, we actually get to find out all 6 of them, which are the Falcon Zord, the Serpent Zord, the Tortoise Zord, the Tiger Zord, the Panda Zord, and the Piranha Zord. Those are the 6 Zords, which also means with 6 Zords, all 6 Rangers are using the Megazord. It's not a separate one or a combined Megazord where they're having to combine with Levi's Megazord. It's one Megazord for all 6 of them together, which is a very rare thing for Power Rangers to have, but it does happen occasionally. Not that often though, but it's happened. And now I don't remember. Actually, I think this is like the first time it's really been known to happen, where there were 6 Zords making one main Megazord. I believe that's right. I can't think off the top of my head right now because I'm making this video, but I believe that's about right. So that's very cool. We get to see the Blaze Megazord going up against Wolverine, and then at one point what happens is that Foxytron gets repowered up, and now the Ninja Medallions are in use. So then Foxytron manages to destroy Wolverine, and he does this because of the fact that that Wolverine wasn't able to defeat the Rangers. So now Foxytron goes out and attacks the Rangers. The Rangers end up dealing some pretty good damage, and they also are using their Super Ninja Steel modes, which is good. And on top of that, the Rangers do this cannon attack where they're launched out of like the chest part of the Blaze Megazord. So all 6 of them get launched out and they attack Foxytron and destroy it. What we also see with the Cloaked figures is that the Cloaked figures say praise the Rangers, and there's a specific quote that's actually said by one of them, the female one, which I think was awesome. It was, "I like those teens. They have attitude," which obviously connects to the origin of the show and everything. But what we also end up seeing is that one of them is using the Time Force Morpher, the Chronomorpher. So that's very cool. Now, if you're wondering what the 3 Cloaked figures are, those 3 Cloaked figures are the ones that we saw in the recent preview episode in the preview clip for Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel's 10th episode, which is the anniversary episode. So we're talking about Coda, Wes, and Gemma. Those are the 3 Cloaked figures. Wes was the main one that we heard in this. The one that was talking about the female sounding voice, that is supposed to be Gemma, and the one that we didn't hear from till like the second time that they spoke, that was Coda. So Coda is there, Gemma, and Wes. Pretty cool, really exciting to see that they're actually connecting to the anniversary episode, and that way what will likely happen is that when they see them in that episode, they'll suddenly like remove their cloaks, and then they'll reveal themselves to the Rangers, which will be very, very exciting. So anyway, the Rangers do manage to defeat Foxytron. Madamodius is, not happy at all. And at the same time, what ends up happening is that the Rangers return back to the school, and they head off on their own ways. Specifically, Haley and Sarah head together, and they're curious as to who those Cloaked figures were and how did they know everything that was going on. And they wonder if maybe they'll see them in the future again. And I believe that, like Haley says, "I think we will." And then what happens is that we also see that Preston ends up hanging out with Sandy, and she ended up getting an A on her science project, which makes her happy, it makes him happy, and they actually decide to work as a team in a pool game together to go up against the other Rangers, which is very cool. At the same time, we also see that Victor and Monty actually had to have their hair removed. The solvent didn't actually, it separated them, but as far as their hair goes, they had to cut it. So that kind of is awful, and which makes sense as well, because with the coloration in their hair, that's another reason why that kind of stuff can happen. It's like when someone has gum in their hair, that often leads to that having to be cut out. So it's the same kind of idea. And many people laugh, they manage to get a drink, and the episode pretty much ends. So that's all really good. I thought it was really well done episode. I like seeing the Blaze Megazord used. I like seeing the Cloaked figures being 3 of the legendary Rangers that will be in the next episode. The music was done well. Victor and Monty were done pretty well. Just a lot of things were done very, very well, and I like the fact that episode 8, 9, and 10 are all connected. They're not separate episodes. The story is still going. It's this continuous plot even up to the next episode. Episode 11 is going to be a filler episode most likely, but at least 8, 9, and 10 are connected. It's good to see when there's continuous story. I like that. As far as what happened with Venema, I don't really remember if they actually showed her being destroyed or if she will have a function in a later episode. We'll have to wait and see. Otherwise, that's about it for me, guys. So please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to know your guys' opinions about this episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was cool to see those anniversary legendary rangers showing up? Did you like the fact that how they used Victor Monty this episode? What things did you enjoy? Did you like the Blaze Megazord? Did you think the episode itself was good? Leave your comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, guys, I'm Crazy Samurai 71, and goodbye, guys.